Well, we already talked about all the great things that are coming to League in Season 2 of 2025, which includes a new map, some quality of life gameplay changes, and even a new game mode. But of course, a new season also means new skins, each with their own monetization. And I'm really saying their own because at this point, who knows how things are being priced. And if there is one thing where Riot is taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that 1 step back is monetization. And so, just like what we've seen in the Noxian season, it just so happens to be that the new Spirit Blossom skins also didn't avoid their own controversy. Or 2. Or 3. Possibly 4. You see, the entire situation is getting a bit iffy because last time Riot mentioned that they are trying to improve how they are handling skins going forward. And to be fair, technically they are trying, but they are still leaving some holes behind which are having a hilarious impact. So, without further ado, let's have a look at what the heck is going on here. By now we all know that Spirit Blossom is getting another wave of skins. It is pretty much the exact same as the first wave, or the second wave. It is all skins based on the canonical folklore of Ionia. Here, in total, we are getting 8 new skins, including one that is not Spirit Blossom, and out of these 8 skins, 3 avoided major complaints. So, let's start with those. The first of these skins, which is generally just seen as good, is Bard. And to be honest, yep, that fits. The model is great, though some people pointed out that this is the 3rd skin where he is using that style of a hat. But I would like to add that this style of a hat is still better than no hat. But on top of this great model, the spell effects are just amazing. Q is flashy as heck, W being a small Spirit Blossom tree that's growing is amazing. It is so thematic with the entirety of Spirit Blossom. His E turned into a great portal, which to be fair might be the best portal out of all the skins he has. And the portal even turns you into a Spirit Bloom. Get it? Because these blooms are the only way that you can communicate with the spirits. And finally, the ultimate is just good. There is nothing too special to mention there. And yes, of course, meeps are a big part of Bard, so it's cool to see that they are unique. Which also reminds me, all the sounds he has now also have an Ionian taste. But I'm gonna assume his bass voice is still the same. So overall, it is a great skin, to be honest. The second skin that is surprisingly also quite clean is Varus, who kinda looks like a cat boy in the splash art. In general, this skin is good. The bow is clearly separated from the body, as a Darkin should. The passive turns into souls floating around. His Q is kinda just purple now, but the charging animation is great. His E really hits the Akana style of the Ionian demons, though I would expect maybe some petals or blossoms around it. And the ultimate has a great dark animation for spreading around. Now, the reason why the entire skin is a bit more spirity and less Spirit Blossomy is because this skin is supposed to be an Akana, kinda like Spirit Blossom Thresh. Which is where a slight piece of criticism actually pops up. You see, some people believe that this kinda looks like set with a bow. And to be fair, yes, Varus does have the problem of all the skins turning him into just a generic human being, even though he is supposed to be at least a corrupted human. But in the majority of his skins, he is just a guy. And somehow the same thing happened here. So it would be cool if they could turn him at least slightly demonic. That way he would fit with the original Darkin theme. But outside of this, the skin is still surprisingly clean, albeit not that exciting. Which takes us into the last of the 3 skins that are being relatively clean, with the third one being, surprisingly, Irelia. Now yes, we have to talk about that asterisk. So as you can see, this is a legendary skin. However, just like most legendary skins these days, while the skin looks good, it is not entirely using new animations. Which means, technically, it should not be a legendary. It should be a really cool epic skin though. But following what happened with Zyra, it seems like this is basically the new standard for legendary skins. They are just slightly higher quality epic skins now, which may or may not be using new animations depending on how it fits the champion. Which means that in general, just be ready for all the new legendaries to be very inconsistent. And honestly, I would like to say that maybe Riot should just ditch the entire system for ranking skins. Maybe skins should have just individual pricing based on features. Because right now, there is a big hole between epic skins and legendary skins that is not being filled up. Anyway, that's where Irelia is. And so let's talk about it. The main theme with the new Irelia is that she has many hands, but she is not using any of them for her attack animations. The new recall is honestly good, so are all the new emotes. They are fine. But there is a small issue that immediately comes up with her attack animations. Here you can see that this skin is missing a transition between an attack animation and a running animation, which is why you can see the animations may feel choppy. What's funny is that Irelia does have some other skins that do have these transitions. So Riot, I know this is just PBE, you do have time to fix this. Without it, a champion that is all about fluency does not really feel fluent. But outside of that, overall, it's all good. Q actually looks good. I really like the animation with the blocking hands on her W. Her E looks really good with the spirit blades. Her stacked passive even gives her a really cool spirit form, with the only thing that being slightly behind being her ultimate. For some reason it kinda feels empty. Maybe they should have some wandering spirits or something like that inside the box. But I can tell you it's missing something. But now you may be wondering, well, from what you said, it does look like even this skin for Irelia had a controversy. It did not seem clean at all. Well, that's because... brace yourselves. Because now we are diving into all the other skins, which people actually talk about. And once again, we will try to start from the least controversial ones. Which means it is time to have a look at Prestige Spirit Blossom Lux. Here, the problem is very simple. It does not feel like a prestige skin. I mean, the splash art is good, but once you see the champion in the game, it's kinda just a Lux skin. Now keep in mind that because this is a prestige skin, it is the final reward from the new battle pass. That's why it is called a prestige skin. But honestly, if you take the name away, it could be just a cool normal skin, although the spell effects feel kinda generic. But that could be because the Spirit Blossom theme isn't really a great fit for Lux specifically. Her other skins look cool because they at least slightly fit the theme. But here we are talking about a spiritual skin line, which can also be used for flowers and petals. But if you have a look at the skin, there is nothing spiritual about it. She's not evoking spirits, there are no souls to be found. I mean, her E is a blossom, which explodes into crystals. If at least there was like an explosion of petals, I would understand it, but there's nothing. And so the skin is kinda in a thematic limbo. That could be because it is a prestige skin, and so they try to make it more sparkly and crystally, which is not Spirit Blossom. And yes, I went all the way to the Lux Mains subreddit to see that the Lux Mains agree. Splash art is cool, the skin itself kinda generic. Speaking of which, that's exactly where the next skin falls to, which is Pool Party Twitch. When this skin was first revealed, I was happy to see that Riot is listening. They don't have to force the same skin theme onto all the champions. They can just give us one-off skins that fit specific champion themes. And to be fair, Pool Party Twitch fits this really well. Twitch is a champion with a firearm, and so they gave it a squirt gun. Well, on paper this works. In practice, it does have some holes which could be easily fixed. One thing people don't like is that the crossbow is still a crossbow. I'm gonna assume that Riot kept it this way to keep the same silhouette, but as we all know, it shouldn't really be that much of an issue these days. And so, I would just give Twitch a proper squirt gun. Secondly, a big thing people are talking about are the spell effects. People say that all the spell effects are recolored, which, while a lot of the green poison was recolored for the water, there are also some new spell effects, but because it is just water, it doesn't look that exciting. But what's far more important is that they don't look exciting because the immersion is absolutely devastated by the sound effects. You see, somehow this skin is using the same sound effects as the base skin, meaning that as Twitch is squirting water around, you can just hear arrows flying by. This does not fit at all. And in my opinion, it might be the only thing that is holding the skin down. With proper sound effects of him squirting water with the gun, everything should click together. But right now, without it, everything feels disconnected. I mean, he even throws a coconut, and when it falls, you can hear glass shattering. Can you at least reuse the same sound effect from the old Lee Sin skin? So yes, this skin is fine, but the sound effects are completely burying it. But that is where we get into the top 3 champions with a whole new skin controversy. Starting with Zyra. Now this might be my favorite kind of skin controversy. It's the one where the champion mains get set up for something awesome, and then their dreams crumble, which leaves them devastated. Feelings which are absolutely justified, mind you. But it's just funny to see such a big opportunity miss. So, a little bit of Zyra main lore for you, which I once again found by diving into their subreddit. Spirit Blossom Zyra might have been the most desired skin Zyra mains ever had. From the very beginning, Spirit Blossom was always a very popular skin line, and because it is all about blooming, it is simply tailored for Zyra. So when it first leaked that Zyra would be getting a Spirit Blossom skin, people got hyped. After which they learned that she would not be getting the legendary skin. It would be just a good old epic, even though the entire skin line was tailored for her. Now here I would like to say, I don't think it matters. These days epic skins and legendary skins are pretty much the same. But anyway, because of this, Zyra mains were salty. And when the skin was finally revealed, the salt remained. First of all, Zyra in general has a big problem. Because the entire champion is just one theme with mostly one color, most of her skins feel like chromas. Which means the moment you start introducing new skin lines with new colors, every new skin feels like a chroma of the last skin. And so people started calling this the pink mythmaker. What's even funnier is that a lot of the spell effects for this skin were taken from the Coven skin, after which they were retextured. So now, just instead of dark, it was light and pink. Again, altogether, the entire skin doesn't look bad. It's just that it still looks like a chroma for Zyra, which again is something most of Zyra's skins have issues with. And so, for a skin the Zyra mains desired the most, there was a lot left to be desired. Which takes us to the 2 of the most controversial skins of the new skin line. Starting with Ashe. You see, the new legendary skin for Ashe is great. It has a new amazing evolving bow that is evolving with her ultimate. The new animations are stellar. The theme fits really well despite being as Spirit Blossomy as it can get. And so the worst thing here is that technically Ashe is getting a 3rd legendary skin, while it could have gone to someone like Zyra or Bard, although I wouldn't say that is an issue that would drag the skin down. And so you might be asking, what is the controversy? This is just a good skin. Well, this is a really high quality legendary skin, one that is suspiciously way better than Irelia, despite Irelia also being a legendary, and that is for a very special reason. You see, the new legendary skin for Ashe was originally supposed to be an exalted skin. In the code, it is using the same tags as the Mordekaiser skin, it is using different forms, just like all the other exalted skins, and when you have a look at the new Ionian Summoner's Rift, you can see that on one side we have Ashe and on the other side we have Morgana, who was also confirmed to be the next exalted skin. So the entire Rift was teasing 2 exalted skins against each other. And so, before the entire Mordekaiser skin incident, Ashe was supposed to be the next exalted skin, but because of the backlash, it was turned into a legendary skin. The funny thing about this is that because of this, this turned into a really high quality legendary skin. So if you're mad that Ashe is getting another legendary skin, well, technically she was not supposed to get one. Which leads us into what I said at the very beginning. Riot mentioned they are trying to improve how they are handling skins, and so this is directly the result of that. I mean, now that we know the original intentions, this skin will still be tainted, but the truth is, technically Riot listened. They know that we are aware of the fact that skins have lower quality in general, and so instead of pushing forward another exalted skin that wouldn't fit, they just stepped back and turned it into a legendary. So for now, Riot made a good decision. But let's see how that affects legendary skins and exalted skins going forward. Which leaves us with only one skin to talk about. The one and only, very unique in his own way, Spirit Blossom Ivern. Where do we start here? You see, originally in the last video I mentioned that this skin doesn't look that bad. Under the right circumstances, it could be the classic 520 RP skin, but the more I dug into what's happening around the skin, the more I realized how unfortunate the entire situation is. In reality, this skin has a not so bad side, as well as a bad side. So, we're talking about a skin which is pretty much a chroma. The vast majority of the model is just retextured. Although, all the mushrooms on Ivern as well as Daisy were replaced with small blossoms. So, there are slight differences in the model. The bad thing is that immediately connected to this, we have Alistar and Rel, both of whom got removed in the last season. Alistar 2 was just a recolor, with Rel being as close to the original as possible, with both being removed because of the lack of quality. So, why is this here? You see, at first I thought that this was fine because unlike Alistar and Rel, this skin for Ivern was very vibrant in the changes. Yes, even the abilities are chromas, but there is a clear difference in the styles. Alistar, for example, didn't have that, because Alistar is not a champion who relies on spell effects. There they repainted the model, and that was it. But Ivern now has newly recolored bushes, his roots look vastly different, and Daisy is clearly different too. From that perspective, this skin totally works as one of the cheaper skins that Riot used to sell. The problem then comes in when you realize that this skin is on the pass, where previously we got Alistar and Rel, who again got removed. And so for the sake of consistency, Ivern 2 should be removed or at least upgraded. But this is also where the counterpoint of, well, all the other big games also have a free recolor at the beginning of the free pass, so this is what this skin should be, which, fair, that's true, that's what other games do too. But then again, we are talking about Ivern, who did not get a skin in 3 years, just like Alistar. But then this has the counterpoint of Riot telling us that if a champion gets a skin on the battle pass, it does not take them out of the pool of getting a normal skin later. So technically, on top of this chroma, Ivern should be also getting a normal skin. So since this is free, it shouldn't really be that much of a big deal. And that's why this skin is so confusing. It shouldn't exist. Alistar and Rel were removed for the exact same reason. But because the champion is so spell effect heavy, it kinda looks fine for a cheap skin, but then we don't have the context of how this skin was made. Did Riot make all the other skins and then they had some extra time and so they quickly slapped this together as a free thing on top of the other things? Or was it planned to be a cheap skin from the very beginning? I don't know. So while originally I was totally fine with this skin being on the pass for free, because he should technically be getting a normal skin anyway, and if it was made as a bonus then who really cares? Well, all the circumstances just made it all confusing. And so now I would like to see at least a slight modification to Ivern's normal model, and going forward after this, Riot, please try to avoid this. Because now there is technically nothing holding you back from re-releasing Alistar and Rel, which is where this entire skin controversy is. Out of the 8 new skins, 2 are clean, 1 is slightly confusing, and 5 are dealing with some kinds of issues. And so while the gameplay side of League is actually moving forward, when it comes to making and monetizing skins, Riot is still fighting the same battle. Although, it is possible that monetization was already accounted for here, because these skins are totally pay to win. They are all blue and pink on a new map that is blue and pink. We are so screwed.